to record until I'm the coach.
Okay. So I guess I think we're okay. So I'm just gonna kind of go off of what I have. As we mentioned, my name is Sarah Reedy. I'm a part-time Title I teacher for Huron City School District. It's in the town that I live in. My previous district, I taught kindergarten for 7 years. This is actually my first time back. I was away for 2 years, staying home with my son. I'm married, and like I said, I have a little boy who's 4, and he attends preschool. And I wanted to start by setting a goal for a discussion. So I wanted to learn more about the students in your classroom. So if you could just tell me some information about your students and like what strengths and needs that you see that they have.
So I work at a special needs preschool. So most of the students in my class are on an IEP for mostly speech in my morning class, and then in my afternoon class it's speech and then occupational therapy and physical therapy. And then I have one kiddo who has vision needs too. So that part's been a little bit of a struggle for me because I've never really dealt with a kid with vision needs. So he's been a little handful this year and last year. So, but all those speech kids, I'm pretty familiar with how all of that works. So that hasn't been very new to me. But a lot of it is just lots of weaknesses with letter sounds and just even recognizing letters. A lot of them can maybe tell you the letters in their name, but most of them can't. So that's where I've been trying to push a lot of that this year.
Are you 3, 4, 5, or are you certain ages?
We're supposed to be 3, 4, 5, but most of my kids this year are 5-year-olds because I've had them for 3 years.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
3, yes.
It's nice you get to build that
nice,
relationship.
But they almost look at me as a mom figure now, and it's too much sometimes.
Yeah. Do you get an aide then too, aides?
Yes, I have one aide in my room too.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And what are your numbers? I'm just curious, your numbers.
I have 9 in the morning and then 8 in the afternoon.
Okay. More power to you. I don't know if I could do preschool.
Yeah.
And in preschool, how long have you done preschool?
This is my 4th year.
Oh, okay. And you said before you wanted to eventually go up a grades.
Yes. Yes.
Is your building all preschool?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We have 6 rooms that are all preschool right now.
Wow. So. That's awesome. And so is it in a district? It's for a district?
We're through the county.
Oh, okay.
So through Miami County.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I loved your lesson just starting out with. I love that you utilized like a literature book and you related a lesson throughout a lot for the kids. And so what were your goals for your students in that lesson?
We've been talking about apples. So one of the main goals of why I read that book is so they could like familiarize themselves with where apples come from, because some of them think that they just grow on the ground or they really have no idea where they come from. So it was to do that, and then towards the end of the lesson it was to work on those positional words of on, off, under, behind, things like that.
Awesome. And that was my next question. It was what you expected them to do afterwards. And I liked after you read the book, you talked about having them move in different positions. And I liked that it was hands-on. I thought that was awesome for the students to do. I'm sure you do a lot of movement in the class.
Oh, yeah.
And how did it connect to your overall unit with apples?
Actually, we're not done with it yet. So we're finishing it up this week. But overall, that was like the beginning part of it, just learning where apples come from and stuff. And throughout this week, we've been tasting different apples and reading just lots of different books and learning the parts of the apple and just many different things that have to do with apples.
That's awesome. So it's incorporating a lot of different meaningful events for the students to understand. That's cool.
Yep.
Especially the tasting. I bet they love that. Do you do like applesauce and like the apple and?
Yeah, we did applesauce yesterday actually, and I was amazed with how many kids do not know how to eat applesauce.
Oh, that's sad.
It was just all over their clothes, and I'm like, do you guys not eat applesauce at home? Like, I feel like that's something that a lot of kids would eat, but
yeah,
they had no idea.
I was thinking of my little one is a lot of it is in those like squeeze. And that's probably what it is, because I'm like, we just keep the big pouches of the squeeze stuff. That's funny.
Here too, especially in the car and stuff.
Yeah.
Give that to them.
That's fun. Yeah. And what activity do you think that they've enjoyed the best so far?
We did an activity where I hid apples around the room, just like paper apples that were colored, and they like anything where they have to get up and go find it. So they enjoy having to search around the room for an apple, and then they have to bring it back and they have to tell me where they found it at, to use those prepositional words, and then they also have to tell me what color the apple is.
Awesome. And were they real apples?
No, they were just pieces of paper of apple, and then I colored them different colors so they all have color to look for.
That's awesome. And so what strategies do you think for your specific students, whether in the morning or the afternoon, like what do you do maybe like behavior-wise or just in general getting them moving? What do you notice works best for your students to kind of keep their attention? And
or a lot of stuff that works best is whenever it's hands-on. So even if it's just simply cutting out different pieces that go, or characters that go with that book, and putting one in front of each of the kids, and then throughout while I'm reading it, they have to bring it up and either put it on the floor in order or put it on a flannel board of some type. That gets them engaged and focused the whole time, so they actually have to be paying attention to when it's their turn.
That's awesome. Always get them moving. I like that. And so what ways do you think that I could be helpful for you? Is there any like resources that you would like to use more of, or different things that you thought maybe you would like to expand on in a lesson or could do better in a lesson?
If there's any tips that you have from just your standpoint, since you are doing the Title I stuff, if there's any even recognizing letters or letter sounds, anything like that I could incorporate in my classroom, that would help out those kiddos that will be going to kindergarten next year. That would be very helpful.
We do, I've done it in my previous district and we use it now. Have you heard of Foundations?
Mm-mm.
It's an awesome phonics program, and it's meaningful for the kids because like we're learning the letter I, so they'll chant. We call it like a letter story. So it'll say I, ich, I. There's like a whole like picture for it, and then everything is like hands-on manipulative. So they even all have like a magnetic board with all the letters. And as they learn, they'll get to add a letter to their board, but it's just they move it down, and it's a lot of hands-on. I think that the kids will like it. My previous district, the preschool, they did Foundations, and they noticed a huge improvement with it. So that'd be like a neat program to like look into. It's all phonics based. And then there's also which I brought into my new district this year. It's a book called Haggerty, and it's a really good like quick 5-6 minute lesson that you do with them. That's all hands-on listening about just like rhyming, manipulating sounds, and things like that. And my previous district, we did like a test run for like 2 or 3 years on it, and we noticed just like a huge improvement with the kiddos from preschool on up in regards to rhyming and phonics and phonemic segmentation. So those are 2 programs I totally would recommend.
That's cool. Can you send me those?
Yeah, I'll send you those for sure. It's awesome.
Yeah. We'll look into.
Yeah. And so how do you think your students responded to the lessons, or just even the lessons in general about apples?
It was actually funny. Today we read a book about Johnny Appleseed, and then later in the day I asked them again when we were reading another book about apples, who planted the apples around the country, and all of them were like, Johnny, and I was like, well, what's his last name? And they're like, and then finally one kid's like, Appleseed, and I was like, yes, that's it. Like, they have so much connection with apples because they eat them all the time that I feel like they are interested in it and just like to learn about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how you make everything relatable too, and that you spend some time on each. I'm sure you do units. Spend each time on that. Do you guys get to go to like an apple orchard or?
No, I wish we would. I don't even know if there's one around us.
Okay.
I actually made like my own pretend apple orchard in our
fun.
So they can pick pom-poms off of the apple trees, and then they pretend make applesauce and stuff with them.
That is awesome. I've never heard of that, but I think that's amazing. That's awesome. You're using your resources. If you can't go there, you're bringing it to them, and that's awesome. I'm gonna have to tell the one preschool teacher about it at our district because I've never heard of that, but that's awesome. They probably love it. I'm sure they go home and make something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
That's fun. Now, this is off topic, but like, do you guys have school on Friday, or is that like your meet days?
That's we don't have, the kids don't come on Friday, but we have screenings on Fridays for new kids coming in to get screened to see if they need speech or any services. So.
Awesome. So you guys have your own like speech and OT in your.
Yep. Each of us have a speech therapist, and then we all share an occupational therapist and a physical therapist.
Awesome. Very cool. And are you from that area? Is that how you ended? Are you from?
I'm actually from like 40 minutes north of that area, but I know the lady that is my supervisor. She lives pretty close to me. So.
Oh, fun! That's awesome. And you're expecting. That's exciting.
Yeah. I always forget stuff, and they're like, "Why are you forgetting?" I'm like, "It's just pregnancy."
Yep. Well, I enjoyed your lesson. I thought you did an awesome job, and it was neat to talk to you more and kind of see how you expanded the lesson. I thought everything was, especially with little kids, hands-on and movement. I think that's awesome. So, great job.
Thank you.
Yep.